Ah, hello there, Site 42 staff, as well as those of you from the greater SCP Foundation community. And welcome to another Coffee Break with Dr. Sherman, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site 42. As always, I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director here at Site 42 of the SCP Foundation. And as I have done for the last over a year and counting, because the daily stream streak remains strong, and you saw nothing. I am here to open my office doors to you, the SCP Foundation staff, to answer your burning questions about this dark and mysterious place of employment we call the SCP Foundation. So whether you have questions about the anomalies we contain, the staff who contain them, the groups of interest who try to stop us from containing them, or hypothetical containment procedures about anomalies that fall outside of the SCP Foundation's purview, perhaps they're from a different multiverse or pataphysical narrative level, i.e., fandom. Either way, we are here for the next approximately 1 hour and 25 minutes for a reading from This Is My JamCon, followed by some general Q&A. But before we get to the stream subject and said Q&A, let me start with a little bit of housekeeping. Lone Claw! Congratulations on being the #1 most punctual member of today's Containment Hazard Assessment team, i.e., congratulations on being first chatter. Alongside you, Sleepless Dragon, Captain Evil Greasy John, Wandering by the Books, Philip November, Researcher Last, Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, hey, it's been a minute, hope you've been doing well. Woescom, Senior Researcher Alex, Rune, Silent Follower, Blue Phantom. Everyone who I have just named, thank you for being here punctually, and thank you for being here as members of Site 42 on YouTube. We appreciate your membership and your service. Furthermore, Opal, Tactical Epsilon 6 Operator, X-Gamer, Kelmsford Invictus, Blanery, Christina Riffle, and Anthony Marlin. Thank you for being here punctually, and thank you for being here today just for being you. Now, a reminder that today's stream is sponsored. As it has been for most of the last month, today's stream is sponsored by the Dr. Sherman 2nd edition Site Director plushie. You can get this now for 4 more days. There are 4 days remaining to get your Dr. Sherman plushie at the link that is pinned in the chat or in the VOD description. Or you can simply go to beacons.ai/site42. You have 4 days left to get it, and then it is gone forever. You are down to last chances here, people. We thank you if you were able to support the channel by purchasing such a thing. Also, thank you, Philip November, for making me look very cool during this section. Now, those are not our only sponsors today, but the sponsors we are doing otherwise are the other way around. I am sponsoring a couple of our fellow SCP content creators. First and foremost, SCP Foundation Head Administrator Dr. Mann has started a YouTube channel. In case you are unfamiliar, as I said, the Master Administrator of the current SCP Wiki has started a YouTube channel. And Dr. Mann has dropped a new video today, The Origins of the Wanderer's Library. So if you head to Dr. Mann SCP on YouTube and say hi from Dr. Sherman, tell him Site 42 sent you, you can learn all about the origins of the Wanderer's Library, the beginning of the lore, as well as many other subjects that someone deeply entrenched in the SCP community might know about. But furthermore, we have one more YouTube content creator sponsor to talk about. I want to turn your attention to a YouTube channel known as Hodgepodge Audio. Hodgepodge Audio is the podcast troupe run by friend of the channel and your favorite SCP YouTuber's favorite SCP YouTuber, Radiger. And Radiger's Hodgepodge Audio has dropped a new trailer for a new comedy horror audio drama called Killionaire. Excuse me? New content from Radiger? Say it is so, please. Here we go. You're playing, yes?
Hey, buddy. What takes 50 years to get up to the top floor and 30 seconds to get down? Hey, buddy. Well, what was this man on the street?
A wowza. A wowza, you gotta be interested. You gotta be crazy to think I'm not interested in a hyper violent comedy podcast by friend of the channel Radiger. And so, one more time, in case you are unfamiliar, Hodgepodge Audio is the home of Radiger's previous podcast, Hymns for the Road, as well as Find Us Alive. I believe Find Us Alive might be on its own YouTube channel. Regardless, enjoy it. So, I do hope that you will appreciate the grand work of our fellow SCP Foundation content creators. But now, the sponsorship section is complete, and we will now move on to the stream subject. Now, once the stream subject is complete, I will move on to the general Q&A, including all of the donations that have come in during the intro. So, patience. Moving into today's This Is My JamCon reading. In case you are unfamiliar, This Is My JamCon was an SCP Wiki unofficial contest where the SCP authors suggested songs to have SCPs written based on them, and then traded those songs to other people. There was a contest. It is now over, and we are going through the track listing, aka top to bottom, the articles that were submitted. And today we are looking at SCP-9302, codename You Won't Get Away With This, that's ominous, by DSL Coda. So, we will now look into this and then move on to standard Q&A. SCP-9302, You Won't Get Away With This, opens with a image, the remains of Westwood Street Church of Christ. The remains of Westwood Street Church of Christ. There is then a listing of multiple, quote, .wav files, audio logs that we will be listening to. I did not read them yet. I just went to go in and check out the length of the article ahead of time to make sure we would have time, since today is a short stream. I do believe we will have time to complete this reading. So, I will complete this reading. We will discuss the article. I will try to guess what song it's based on. I have a 0 for 7 so far. No, a 0 out of 9 guess total so far. I have not successfully guessed a single damn song. And I'm a music guy. I'm a dance teacher, and I am a singer. I was a professional wedding singer for years. I should be able to guess one of these damn songs, but unfortunately, those 9 songs we have had through thus far were all songs I had never ever heard of. Apparently, SCP authors have very eclectic music taste. But all I want out of these 27 songs, oh no, the 27 Club. That's ominous, actually. I just want to guess one of these right. I just want to guess one. And so, please, SCP authors, lend me your strength. But let's see if lucky number 10 is the one. SCP-9302, let's begin the reading. Item number SCP-9302. Object class, uncontained. Special containment procedures. Initial containment efforts for SCP-9302 have failed. Future containment efforts are pending the anomaly's rediscovery and capture. A medium priority search order for any instances found in Tennessee and the greater southern United States has been issued. While SCP-9302 in specific has so far shown to be relatively docile, footnote, unless provoked, see section on containment efforts, vampires and vampirism are still understood as extremely dangerous anomalous threats. SCP-9302 instances should be approached with caution and, if necessary, lethal force. Description: SCP-9302 refers to the active vampire population of Esker, Tennessee. There is no evidence of any Esker resident, human or otherwise, regarding SCP-9302 as unusual prior to Foundation involvement within the town. Footnote, or possibly anomalous activity in general. So people in Esker don't find vampires weird. That's weird in and of itself. It is not known when Esker developed a substantial vampire population, as town residents have been reluctant to share information. However, as of 2025, vampires were unusually well integrated. A particular note were the presence of a local hog farm and blood donation clinic, each partially dedicated to providing sustenance to vampires safely. Footnote, both now demolished. Rude. And a broad trend of businesses keeping far later opening hours than would be expected, including notably Westwood Street Church of Christ. Footnote, now destroyed, which held a 1 a.m. service each Sunday during which crucifixes would be temporarily removed from the auditorium. Very peculiar. Discovery. The Foundation's presence in Esker began in June of 2004 during the surveillance and containment of an unrelated anomaly. Footnote, see SCP-8313. And just as a quick click to see what that is, since it's a related tale, a related situation, SCP-8313, codenamed the Christian Jubilee, refers to the Church of Christ 1998 trip to Goodbrook Bible Camp, a 6-acre campground in Esker, Tennessee, which had continued uninterrupted for 27 years. Blah, 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 blah. It seems like there was a time loop of some sort at church camp. There seemed to have been a time loop at church camp, and the Foundation came to investigate. At least that's what I'm getting from a quick skim. So, back to the original article. Now, what we just did, I want to give you a slight tangent here. What we just did there is called a wiki walk. A wiki walk is when you you insert links into your article that link to other stories for context. Now, often, I wonder if this person is linking their own article. In fact, I'm going to look because I can. This is also a DSL Coda article. So what DSL Coda has well done here is expanded the lore of their Esker, Tennessee setting by setting multiple stories in this area and then wiki linking them so people will see one and then go to another and then maybe go to another. That's good wiki story building policy. Now, it is important that you just don't do this with random articles that have nothing to do with yours. Making them fit thematically is good. We had a kind of ban on cross-testing like this for a while because people would just take a very popular article and link it in theirs to get people to come over. So, yeesh. It's now less frowned upon because people have come to do it more tactfully as of late. All right, back to the reading proper now. In July of 2025, after the conclusion of said anomaly, that time loop lasted for 21 years. Yeesh. Field researcher Dr. Tom Hutt was asked was tasked with conducting a final survey of the town and key locations within it to ensure no lingering effects remained. On July 26, 2025, at 11:39 p.m., while conducting the survey, Hutt was noticed by a local minister, April Cavler. Upon finding the resulting encounter suspicious, Hutt motioned for further investigation. Relevant audio file attached, 8313 survey12.wave. The audio file starts with a click and a hushed whisper. This is Dr. Tom Hutt conducting a post-neutralization survey of SCP-8313. I'm in the south lobby of Westwood Street Church of Christ. The voice sounds weary and bored. A light, almost imperceptible crackle rings through the background, drowned out by sudden electronic buzz. Hume's reading normal. I don't see anything out of the ordinary either. A few footsteps rising and then lowering in pitch, as if trailing in a circle. All clear in the south lobby. I'm tired. Entering the auditorium now. The sound of a door opening slowly and then closing very quickly, heavy breathing. Muffled, as if in another room, a woman's voice calling. Hello? Is someone there? Heavy breathing, slowly tapering down. It's all right. I'm just about finished putting everything away. A pause, broken by the sound of a door opening again. Hi there. Who invited you in? Says the voice, now unmuffled. Footsteps. I'm just here to pray, says Dr. Hutt in the tone of someone who desperately needs to be convincing. The distinct sound of a woman placing one hand on her hip, unconvinced. All right. I'm going to say here, personally, I don't like the tone of this prose. This is a small critique. This prose version of an audio log. I immediately clocked it as something I don't like in the first place, just because the SCP Foundation audio log format is pretty standardized by now. You have the voices, you have little, you have the voices with the script writing and the name and then speech, actions written in between. That's the typical audio log. And following that, the distinct sound of a woman placing one hand on her hip, unconvinced. That doesn't make a distinct sound to me. I think this is a bit flowery. I think this is a bit overdone. For an SCP document, that is. Now, so far, I have no problems with the article overall except for this. But feels like an oddly specific lyric. 369 Destroyer, if these turn out to be lyrics of the song, I will be impressed on the other side. Maybe. I'd have to decide how they fit. But I'm just clocking this as a bit of a writing critique. Well, that's what we're here for, she says. But I asked who invited you in. I suppose I just invited myself. I see. A few more footsteps and then slightly closer to the microphone. Are you an out-of-towner? The sound of a head nodding. What sound does that make? No! Do you hear this? What sound? Sorry, this is starting to frustrate me more and more. Again, author, I don't hate you. I am critiquing this from a writer's perspective, and I'll even give you from an amateur writer's perspective. I am not an expert writer. I've never written more than an SCP. So, but it is tickling my particular nerves of annoyance is all. Well, it's nice to meet you. My name's April. The ruffle of an awkward handshake. The first traditional service today is at 8. Right now, though, I'm afraid we're setting up for a private event. The sound of a single step backwards. What kind of private event do you have going on at midnight? Oh, could be a lot of things. Maybe a lock-in, maybe an emergency prayer group. We could be celebrating New Year's in July. But what is it? The sound of a sharp, piercing smile? The sharp, piercing smile made a sound? Why do you hurt me so? Why do you hurt me so? Everyone is welcome at Westwood, sir. If you have a problem with that, come see me after services. We'll grab a coffee. Silence. A click and the audio file ends. The following morning, at recommendation of site director Thosman, Dr. Hutt did indeed attend service at Westwood and approached Miss Cavler afterwards. The two then left for Walsall Coffee House, a local diner, for further discussion. Hutt kept a recording of the conversation in full and forwarded it to site director Thosman later that day. Relevant audio file attached. 72725.wav. Wave. It's wave, not wav. The sound of coffee being poured and dishes clinking into each other. Idle chatter bleeding into itself in the background. Muffled in the distance, the occasional sound of a car driving by and the lonely chittering of a stray bird. All of those are, in fact, sounds. Thank you. Then April's voice. Pleasant, friendly, but distinctly lower than before. She's tired. Hello again, Dr. Hutt. Dr. Hutt's voice, also tired, but in the way of having only slept a few hours, rather than having not slept at all. Miss Cavler. April. Miss Cavler. Have you been up since midnight? The skirt of a chair scraping across the floor, and the boom of a person falling into their seat. That's being a preacher. My whole work week is packed into the weekend. A gentle sip of hot black coffee. At midnight, though? Another sip. Sometimes. Fingers tapping against wood. I noticed something. When you were there last night, you said you were finished putting everything away. Sound of a coffee cup being placed on the table. Dr. Hutt goes on. And I was looking around this morning trying to find what was in the auditorium that wasn't there last night. And I found it. About 6 or so crosses. 7, actually. 3 on the north wall, 3 on the south, and 1 on the podium. Uh-huh. And I'm wondering, what kind of church event requires the crosses to be put away? Silence. Even the idle chatter in the background seems quieter. I think I see where this conversation is going. It's not going anywhere. I'm just asking questions. Yeah, everyone's just asking questions until they're not. A sigh. The creaking of a chair as April leans forward and, in a more hushed tone, says, You want to know what's really going on in Esker? I do. Shuffling as April looks to her left and to her right, and then back at Dr. Hutt. Okay, here's what's really going on. We're a small town in the middle of a big forest. We have a church, a farm, a diner, a grocer's, and a clinic. Everyone here works at one of them and visits the other 4. We all know each other, and our kids all know each other. We have service on Sundays and fish fry on Tuesdays. There's 100 towns just like us in this part of the state. And sometimes somebody comes in and notices someone acting a little strange, staying up too late, or eating an unfamiliar food, or talking in a way they don't understand. And sometimes when that happens, that person gets ideas. Ideas. Someone looks out into the dark and decides that the shapes they see look like a threat. And if that person decides to take action about it, well, that's about the only way trouble ever comes around here. The idle chatter around the diner is turned to idle whispers. Dr. Hutt's chair creaks. Miss Cavler. April. Miss Cavler, I'm going to be very blunt. I need you to tell me why you believe you are in danger here. A sharp exhale. Not until just now. No. I needed you to tell me whether you believe you are in danger here. Not until now, just now. I need you to tell me whether you've seen anything out of the ordinary in this town. I don't think I've ever seen anything in the ordinary, period. Have you? Miss Cavler. My name is April. A sigh. The scrape of a chair as Dr. Hutt inches back in his seat. The silent stillness of coffee going cold. Well, at least the silent stillness. At least coffee goes cold silently and stilly. At least that didn't make a sound in the microphone. Look, I understand that you don't trust me and may not trust outsiders in general. I can understand that. But we're both fighting the same battle here. We're locked in a war against the forces that make our world broken. I don't need to say it. You know what they are. Egg on your face, but that fight's already been won. Couple thousand years ago, so I've read. If you were in my line of work, you wouldn't think so. If you were in my line of work, you would. We're at an impasse. Dr. Hutt groans in frustration. I'm trying to say, if something is wrong in this town, I can help. I'm sure you think so. If you want my advice, next time you see something in the dark and you're not sure what it is, assume you're much more likely to hurt it than it is to hurt you. And if you want to know how to best help me, stop making poorly veiled accusations about my church. Now then, a creak and a pop as April stands. This was a nice talk, but I'm sure we both have wives to get home to. You don't have to stay for the evening service. You have a wife. That's what I said. 3 disapproving vocal clicks and the subtle shift of a head turning to look out a window. Some town. An audible glare. Please don't stay for the evening service. Footsteps trailing off in the distance and the audio ends. Site director Thosman concurred that Dr. Hutt had found sufficient evidence of anomalous activity in Esker to warrant further action. On July 29, 2025, Special Task Force US-27 was deployed in part to Esker and instructed to search for concrete evidence of vampirism. That night, the first proven instance of SCP-9302 was discovered. While securing the instance, Dr. Hutt and 2 US-27 agents were encountered by April Kavler and her wife, Erica Kavler. The containment of the 9302 instance was successful despite the encounter. Relevant audio file attached. I don't like the sound of that. Researcher Quinn, I love audible glare. That was good. Uh I didn't even clock that. But that almost goes ridiculous enough for me to enjoy it. All right, so this is SCP-9302 underscore 72925 dot wave. What the hell are you doing? Dr. Hutt laughs heartily. Beside him, something is rattling in restraints. Good evening to you too, Miss Kavler. And you must be her so-called wife. So-called? Where are you taking her? Erica asks, fear and rage tearing the seams of her voice. What? Okay. I'm getting confused by the, what the hell are you doing? Dr. Hutt laughs heartily. Beside him, something is rattling in restraints. Good evening to you too, Miss Kavler, and you must be her so-called wife. So-called? Where are you taking her? Erica asks, fear and rage tearing in the seams of her voice. Hello, puppy of interest 42, codename Charlie. Are you here for some vampire catching? Puppy of interest 42, codename Charlie, says hello. She is back from field mission. She is adorable. Here's a treat from the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. So, I'm trying to imagine the setting of this scene in which this conversation takes place as it has. I should probably finish it before I do that, but someone fell in a trap and they're next to each other to be in a. The conversation structure is confusing me. But I will do more thinking of that once I get through the conversation first. Where are you taking her? Erica asks, fear and rage tearing the seams of her voice. Where she belongs, ma'am. She hasn't done anything, Doctor. She hasn't hurt anyone, April protests. Oh, I'm sorry. Is this person part of your congregation, Miss Cavler? Is she part of your community? Does she go to your service on Sundays and fish fry on Tuesdays? Okay, cool. So the woman in question is not Erica or April. It is a third woman who is also a vampire. Got it. Got it. Okay, that's why that makes sense. Her name is Ruth Anderson. She is a friend. Let her go, Dr. Hutt, please. Maybe we should find out what God thinks of your friends first, shouldn't we? Then, swift and careless, the sound of a weapon being drawn. Where did you get that? Property of my employers, Miss Cavler, and it's the real thing, too. Carved in the year 1200 from a shard of the true cross? And since your friend is so strong in the faith, I'm sure she'd love to have a closer look at it. The rattling of restraints, Ruth faintly muttering something indistinct and afraid. April says, no, no. Erica says, keep that thing away from her. Is there a problem? It's only a crucifix. An arm extending outward and a sound like crisping leaves and boiling mud. A hiss and then a scream. Erica, again, keep that thing away from her. This is what she is, ladies. This is what the cross is for. This is what your church should be for. This is the battle that's being fought. You could never understand that. You've never even tried. Stop it, Dr. Hutt. You're killing her. Another hearty laugh. Finally, Miss Cavler, you can see what's right in front of you. Running footsteps, the sound of another hand reaching for the cross, growling, Erica's voice repeating, let her go. Stay back, miss. Stay out of this. Struggling, April taking one step back, then two forward. A cross being pushed and pulled. April reaching out for only a second before wood snaps, hissing stops. Another weapon is drawn. Gunshot. A body falls to the floor. The vampire gasp. April screams. Dr. Hutt holsters his one intact weapon. I didn't want to do that. Running and then falling. The sound of something being shaken. Between gasps and screams. No, then Erica, Erica, open your eyes. Then no, God, no, God, no. And finally, an indecipherable melded blend of words and tears. You made this messy. You didn't have to get involved. What have you done? Ruth asked quietly. You shouldn't be talking at all. April wails deep and guttural from her entire chest. The sound of a hug that is not being returned. Dr. Hutt turning to someone behind him. Bring the vampire to her cell. Nitpick. Dr. Hutt, if he is treating the vampire like an it at this point so hard against the town's wishes, would probably still call it an it. Please practice proper pronoun parlance protocols at the Foundation. Sedate Miss Cavler and bring her back to her home, he commands, under supervision. Audio ends. From there, SCP-9302 was formally acknowledged as an anomalous entity and containment efforts began in full. Initial containment efforts. Keeping in mind the extent of 9302's integration within ESCR, Special Task Force US-27 was deployed the following week to enact sweeping containment protocols. Dr. Hutt instructed US-27 to separate the vampire human population, then transport the vampire population to Site 20, and anesthetize the entirety of the human population. Site Director Thosman warned task force agents in advance that both groups may offer resistance and instructed them to minimize harm to human civilians whenever possible. Once US 72, typo, you reverse the numbers there, arrived in full, the town of Esker was fenced in and locked off with temporary guard stations. Desk, would you do me a favor during the read? Log in to the wiki on 9302's page, and in the second paragraph of initial containment efforts, would you edit the US 27 proper there and then just leave a note typo fix? The town of Esker was fenced in and locked off with temporary guard stations. Civilian communication with the outside was severed, and the blood donation clinic was demolished. Civilians were informed that US-27 were a government agency, that they had been tasked with the removal of the local vampire population, and that neither vampire nor human civilians would be harmed if they cooperated. Some human civilians did indeed cooperate, and some vampire civilians willingly offered themselves for containment. However, most human civilians in Esker either refused to the locations and identities. However, most human civilians in Esker either refused to the locations and identities of vampires denied the existence of vampires outright, or either intentionally or unintentionally provided blatant misinformation. There's a refuse to blank the locations of identities of vampires. Refuse to divulge, probably, the locations of identities and vampires. Maybe reviews. There's a missing word there, is what I'm saying. Attached are two relevant audio files. One is a local radio broadcast of a sermon delivered by April Cavler. The other is a surveillance recording from Cavler's home that night. Two WAV files. WAV file 1. Tonight we worship in desperation. We are scattered, hunkered in our homes, hiding in caves and crawl spaces, waiting for danger to pass. I never thought we would find ourselves in times like these. I'm proud of us for how we're seeing them through. Erica and I always have the same conversation. When I would read the news and saw something that made me feel hopeless, she would say, "Remember who's in control." And I would tell her, that doesn't actually make me feel any better. I know who's in control. He's been in control for all of human history. And that hasn't stopped people from dying, or wars from happening, or sicknesses from spreading. But we, all us here, worship a God who died. And so our hope isn't that bad things don't happen. Our hope isn't that nobody ever dies. Our hope is that death isn't the last thing. That after the bad things do happen, we heal. Erica is gone. I will wait a lifetime to see her again. If our visitors have that way, I will wait a lifetime to see many of the people I love most. But I will not wait for nothing. I refuse to wait for nothing. Our service tonight can't be held in person safely. I don't know if it ever will be again, at least not in Esker. But we will be together again. And we will pray and cry and sing. And eventually we will heal. That is where my hope is. May it be where your hope is too. Now the suits have torn down our donation clinic. I think trying to starve the vampires out. Any humans listening, do not try to draw your own blood at home. You're not going to be of any help to anybody if you go and get yourself an infection. We've got enough reserves in animal blood to last another week or so. We need to spend our time until then figuring out how safely to keep our friends from starving. I've heard from many vampires already saying they absolutely do not want to see humans offering to let themselves be turned because of all this. And I've heard from even more humans offering to be turned if the situation calls for it. Now that's not a real solution. If all of us turn, the suits aren't going to have any reason left not to just take us all away. But if you at home listening do decide to let someone bite you, make sure to do it safely. Get rid of garlic, crosses, and silver before you turn, not after. Try to leave it all in one place the suits can't find it. And remember, new vampires can last a little longer in sunlight, but it still burns. And this goes without saying, but sunscreen won't help. Stay safe, siblings. And if you can't stay safe, stay hopeful. And remember who's in control. I love all of you. More importantly, God loves all of you. We are together in that love, even when we are apart in physical space. Good night, Esker. Okay, hold here. That fucks. That is a sick-ass log. That is damn fine writing. All the little prose complaints I had about the audio logs not making sense, the sounds of smirking and putting your hand on your hip and nodding and hugging, those, yeah, I still don't like them. I still am not a fan. I find that to be a critique. A couple of typos. As I was going into this log, I was about to be like, I'm sorry, this might be my first downvote, if only because the combination of sounds, weird prose in the audio logs, and then the couple of typos in one paragraph, 2 in 1. I was like, man, I think this just might need to cook a little more. But damn, that log is fire. Damn, if I ain't from Florida, if I ain't from the South, if I ain't part of the Baptist church at a time, and I have not seen how a good church handles when there is an oppressive force fucking with your people, when there are terrible despots trying to root out your local neighbors because they're different from you in some way, and how the community has to rally to fight that shit. Well, If that don't mean something in today's modern American day and age. Hot damn. DS Al Coda. Fuck yeah. Might have just won my upvote off that alone. I think that about did it. But we've got 2 more audio logs left, and then we go to the general Q&A. So let's finish strong, people. Wave file 2. I don't know who's talking, so I don't know what the sound of April clawing at her own face. Oh, Jesus. You better have a plan here. A gasp and then sobbing, violent and uncontrolled. You better know what you're doing. You better have a reason for this. The sound of April clawing at her own face, screaming and cursing. What's wrong with you? An inhale that takes in no air. What's wrong with me? April falling into her bed and creaking the frame. God, Lord, I can't keep preaching like this. I can't keep trying to give hope when I don't have any to give. Are you there, God? April sitting up, immediately laying back down, then sitting up again. I don't understand. I don't understand why this is happening. I don't understand why you let this happen. But we're both here, and I need you, and you need me. So if this is all your way of punishing the people you made for being a reflection of what you are, well, Lord, we've all got an eternity together for you to fucking figure it out. A fist colliding with a pillow, a gasp, a wail, and a scream muffled by a mattress. Please, God, please. I thought I knew what this is about. I thought I always did. Jesus loves me, for this I know, for the Bible tells me so. That was it. That was all there needed to be. That's how I knew everything would be okay. And it doesn't look like everything's going to be okay anymore. I still love you. I still need you. I can't stop myself from needing you. You're the only thing that's ever made me feel like I don't have to be afraid. And now Erica is gone. The clinic is gone. This whole town. And I'm afraid again. I'm actually afraid again. 2 breaths in, followed by 3 breaths out. Are you there? Do you care? Sobbing. Silence. God, if you're really Dr. Hutt's God, well, then I'm not going where I thought I was going. None of us are. And I think maybe that's okay. If I'm with Erica, it's okay. Who knows? Maybe we'll find the God we've been worshiping down there too. A sound wry and joyless. If a certain story about a furnace is to be believed, he's very good at getting people out of fires. A single breath in and out played in staccato. A sniffle. Oh, in Jesus' name, amen. Following Kavler's broadcast, Esker's local radio station was shut down by US 27. Kavler then, of her own volition, suspended Westwood Street Church of Christ Sunday services indefinitely. On August 22nd, 2025, with SCP-9302 containment efforts reaching an end, an amnestization order was given for all human residents of Esker. The town of Esker was found entirely abandoned the following day, with many of its buildings damaged or destroyed. It is not known how the attempt at amnestization failed, how containment was breached, or what became of Special Task Force US-27. Only one recording of the event remained, believed to have been left behind intentionally on the part of 9302s. Relevant audio file attached. 9302 underscore 82225.wave file. A hand knocking on a door, and then, before the words come in have the chance to creak, the creak of a door opening regardless. The crackling spine of a leather-bound Bible. April's voice. One man thinks one day is more important than another. Another man thinks every day is the same. Every man must be sure in his own mind. Miss Kavler, it's time to go. No one lives for himself alone. No one dies for himself alone. If we live, it is for the Lord. If we die, it is for the Lord. If we live or die, we belong to the Lord. Come on, Miss Kavler. Christ died and lived again. That is why he is the Lord of the living and of the dead. An impatient exhale. Why do you try to say your Christian brother is right or wrong? Why do you hate your Christian brother? Are you done? Christ has made me know that everything in itself is clean. The sound of a book closing. Yeah, I'm done. I assume you caught the last one? He was here, in the church, just under the awning, pretending to pray. That's an interesting way to phrase it. And I'm guessing now you want to tie up loose ends? I don't want to hurt you, Miss Cavler. Really? All right. I want to hurt you. My employers do not. Hasn't stopped you before. A chair creaking as April stands. Okay, then. Let's get this over with. Where are we going? Just outside. We have some last questions for you, and then you'll be free to go. You'll be back with your church before you know it. That's what I'm hoping. Footsteps on wood, then carpet, then wood again, echoing down a long hallway. Outside, muffled, a mix of voices and the sound of tents being taken down. Sounds like all your friends out there are ready to move on to the next town, huh? A slight nod. We've been here longer than we usually are. Must make you feel a little bad for the people you're leaving behind, right? You're all better off for it. You gutted us. Half our town is gone now, and we were a tiny town to begin with. You do know what happens next, right? Esker dies. A sigh. That's how cutting out a cancer works. Someday, maybe you'll see that. A hand on a doorknob. A deep breath in and a deep breath out. You won't get away with this, April says, sounding less like a threat than a statement of fact. Move. A door opening. Footsteps open, going from wood to grass. And then, out of nowhere, something sizzling. The sound of April exhaling through her teeth as smoke pours off her skin. Wow. Sun's super hot today, isn't it? Dr. Hutt placing a hand on a gun. What? But you're not a vampire. I wasn't. You wouldn't let yourself get this close to any of the others. A sound like a viper striking. A scream of shock that slides into a scream of pain. The sound of a hand trying to pull a gun out and missing. A punch. Someone falling to her knees, breathing heavy, wiping her shirt sleeve on her chin. Someone else turning and running. Heavy footsteps on grass, stopping just before they reach wood. Why? Why can't I go back in? Sorry, buddy. You can't invite yourself anymore. Weakly, desperately. April! April standing, skin singed to an audible crisp. Someone screaming, "Open fire!" And then a gunshot, which is ignored. A lunge, a bite, a shove. More gunshots, ignored. A lunge, a bite, a shove. The sound of sizzling skin growing louder and multiplying. Screaming, running, lunges, bites, shoves, fire. A harsh electronic beep, and the audio cuts out. Got him. Great foreshadowing that newly turned vampires can last a little bit in the sun to give us that ending action scene there. Very nice. And while I am particularly unhappy about the assumption that SCP Foundation task members were all turned into vampires and then burned to a crisp by the sun, and I do not relish their tactlessness in handling this scenario that got them ganked, I can hear my author up above hooting and hollering at their demise. Like an asshole. Alright, let me fix the audio sync. Alright. Alright, hold on a second. And... Woo! Okay. Real quick. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that, Dr. Sherman. Don't do that. So, first of all, DJ, happy 11th SCP birthday, Dr. Sherman. I requested SCP-8220 to be transferred to Site-42 just for the occasion. Short and sweet article. Sadly, people just think of it as an SCP-348, but worse. I'll save 8220 in the back burner for a minute. And then, what was I saying? Trying to first find my Wikidot account in a place where I could see the proper page. As I believe DJ is pointing out, so if you look at my account on the SCP Wiki, then it turns out that I joined the SCP Wiki on May 9th, 2015. Neat! It is May 9th, 2026. 11 years since I joined the SCP Wiki. And let me quote the, let's see. So to transcribe the quote from the namesake of Site-42, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. 11 years ago, Dr. Theron Sherman joined the SCP Wiki. This made a lot of people very unhappy and has widely been regarded as a bad move. But thank you to everyone who has enjoyed my time here in one time or another. And I've certainly had a good time with it. Joining the SCP community has certainly changed the trajectory of my life in some wild and crazy ways. And I so seriously hope to do my best to do well for the community and in the community as we continue. All right, my terminal is glitching, so give that a minute to reload some things. Is it just me, or is Dr. Sherman's eye slightly red? Intern, any stars? Yes, I have had a bad allergic reaction in this eye for the last couple days. You notice I wipe my eyes every time I touch Puppy of Interest 42 for a reason. And so we've got eye drops, but it's this is what particularly bad. But there's no pus or discharge. It's nothing contagious. So we're assuming it's just allergies. It's been very frustrating. Okay. So acknowledging DJ so DJ can go shopping. Who watches this stupid, boring crap? Entered Amber. How rude of you. It's, not very copacetic of you. Very loserly behavior, in fact. I'm just gonna go ahead and demote that one to D class myself. Also, Site-42 Containment Hazard Assessment Team. Chat. There is a moderator in the chat, a blue name. You damn well better pay attention to it, because if you're being called out for breaking the rules, and then you don't listen to the moderator, you might get banned, and you might not even know why, because you weren't paying attention to the moderator. So, getting back on subject from all the little side post chat there, let me finish talking about 9302. So, 9302 is going to be a no vote from me. While it had the very high of the action scene and the April's monologue there, which is real good, real good. A couple of typos that I want to see fixed. And I really just, the prose doesn't speak to me when it comes to all those sound of hand on hip. I don't like the audio, I don't like the audio log format in and of itself as prose. I prefer the audio logs to be the standard format. And the weird sounds are what puts it over the end to go to no vote rather than an upvote for me. Now, again, this is not a big deal. This is preference. Other people might like those things. It's just not my cup of tea. So I will be a no vote. Now for a song, Desk, thank you for fixing that 2-7. I do want to let them know they missed a word in that paragraph as well, so they maybe add that word in. So maybe I'll make a discussion post at the end. But for now, the last thing I can do is guess a song. Songs about vampires. Songs about vampires in the South. Can't really think of any. Can't really think of any. This one just hit too close to home for me to be able to enjoy it, unfortunately. Oh, I get that, Puppet Boy. The, as I said during my rant after the church speech, the, allegories on the wall. And that I'm very impressed by. All right, I don't have a song on hand, and if it's a song I know, I'm going to be super pissed. But here we go. I'm going in the discussion. Codename, you won't get away with this. Creator commentary. The song that I was given for JamCon was the absolutely ethereal horror movie soundtrack by Underscores. Okay. At least I didn't know the song, so again, I'm 10 for 10. I don't know a single song from JamCon. There's 17 songs left. Maybe I'll know one. Jiminy sakes. Okay, I'll leave that discussion there so I can leave my notes on it later. But in the meantime, I'm going to read SCP-8220 for DJ who left or is about to leave because it's very short. And then we will move into general Q&A. SCP-8212, Object 8220, Object Class Safe, Special Containment Procedures. You may request access to 8220. Description. It is a 3-layered vanilla cake with strawberry and blueberry toppings. A plastic ornament reading Happy Birthday is partially buried inside the cake. It can only be removed by an individual on their birthday. The ornament contains a message addressed to the individual from an emotionally significant figure in their life, including the following: close relatives, including those recently deceased, romantic partners, close friends, or role models. The flavor of the cake varies by individual. The following results have been observed during testing of 8220. Subject, Eleanor Danry, 28-year-old female, got a message: I'll always love you, Ellie. Give us a call soon, okay? Describe flavor, a bit too sweet, but in a good way, like mom's. James Harper, 48-year-old male. We're your family now, Jim. We got you no matter what. Sour, but the aftertaste is better, like honey. Rebecca Maynor, 51-year-old female. We love and care for you more than anything. It will get better. Flavorless, and they tried so hard too. And then Connor Austin, 23-year-old male. It wasn't your fault. Burnt. Flavor. What is... Why was the cake burnt? I'm confused. But anyways, thank you for cake, DJ. Now, I am moving over to the chat. I am refreshing. I am now going to catch up on the donations that happened during the reading. It was a longer reading, but we got it done. We have 25 minutes left of Q&A. Let me start with the Ko-Fi so I don't forget them in case they exist. Amber, thank you for sending a Ko-Fi to the stream, despite the fact you missed the stream. You sent it even though you're not here. We appreciate you very much, Amber. Grab yourself a chocolate cake on your way past the commissary. Philip November, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member and those dope glasses. Grab yourself a cookie cake on your way past the commissary. Have some funds for an overly expensive water that's no different from all the waters, except for it having slightly more fancy bottle. Yay, fancy water! Stay hydrated. Blue Phantom, thank you for gifting 11 promotions to the Site 42 Containment Hazard Assessment Team. If you receive one of those promotions, make sure you thank Blue Phantom for their generosity to give us more green names so we can cure the white name virus. ADHD Random Fandoms, thank you for sending a flower to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. I'm sure they thought it was very pretty. Chris and Ira Wolfboy, thank you for your 11 months as a mobile task force captain here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership and your service. I have a gum recommendation. It's called Laroneco Remineralizing Gum. The company claims to plant a tree for every box bought. Okay. This sponsorship for Laroneco Gum brought to you by Chris the Dire Wolfboy. Blue Phantom, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as those gifted memberships and being a member. Grab yourself a red velvet cake on your way past the commissary. Puppy of interest where and treat for the puppy. Well, we have seen the puppy since then. Very good. Site 19 E7s, thank you for sending a happy Mother's Day to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. If there are any mothers in the chat, happy Mother's Day to you. Blue Phantom, thank you for sending 5 stars to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. I'm sure they're happy to be a 5-star Containment Hazard Assessment Team. Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, thank you for sending 10 stars to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. I'm sure they feel great for being a 5-star team twice in a row. Very nice. Blue Phantom, thank you for sending a single star to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team, just a cherry on top. Blue Phantom, thank you for donating again to say, are there any SCPs that involve slapping someone with a fish? Also, how is you and Death's Day so far? Well, my eye is feeling much better than it did yesterday. It's still not fully fixed, but that's helping me. And then, I'm sure Desk is doing okay. Now, I remember the fish slapping song from Monty Python. SCP Fish Slap. Great white sharks. It does not look like we have a fish slap SCP. But you can go enjoy the fish slapping song from Finland, done by the Monty Python team. Charlie 10 Pro, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Get yourself a carrot cake on your way past the commissary. When I was walking down the hallway in Site 19, I saw eyes on the roof of the ceiling looking at me. So I may or may not have flipped them off, and now I'm worried. What should I do? Oh, the eyes of the beholder. If you saw the eyes, you will not very well be okay. Were the eyes amber colored? If they were amber colored, you're going to die. If they're not amber colored, you're going to be okay. That's SCP-4205. Were they amber eyes or were they non-amber eyes? You do not want to be caught in SCP-4205's site. Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a lightly fried fish fillet on your way past the commissary. I'd have run if someone's smile made a sound. If you've seen the movie Clue, there's a moment in that film where Tim Curry's running around reenacting the entire movie, one-man show style. And at one point, he says, "And Yvette was here, waiting to offer you a drink. And the smile goes, "Bring." And it's such a good sound effect. 05 Council 3, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Get yourself a quiche on your way past the commissary. 053 Kid, we here for the items in question. 729, SJ, no! Why do you want that thing? Oh, just leave it in Dr. Hessen's office. It's fine. Charlie 10 Pro, thank you for donating again to say, imagine if GLaDOS was in charge of the foundation. Well, I guess we'd all be taking a big whiff of some deadly neurotoxin. Sleepless Dragon, thank you for sending a 100 to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they will keep it 100 at your urging. Wandering by the Books, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a cupcake on your way past the commissary. How many SCPs do you know of by heart? One time on stream, we played a game of how many SCPs can I name by number and knowing what they are, not just saying random numbers. And I think that challenge went on for over 100 SCPs in at least 5 to 10 minutes. So that was a pretty crazy fight there. Alpha 1 Red Right Hand Team 9, thank you for sending a gold coin to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they will use the doubloon responsibly. Christadar Wolfboy, thank you for sending a doubloon. Mr. Grayman, thank you for sending a doubloon. Alpha Red Right Hand Team, thank you for sending a doubloon and a star. And 2 more stars. Phil November, thank you for sending a hundo. Grayman, thank you for sending a doubloon. All of you. I'm sure the Containment Hazard Assessment team will use these for very responsible and not mischievous purposes. Wandering by the Books, thank you for donating again to say, would the urge to not leave SCP-729 to stop 096 from chasing someone who saw its face? I highly doubt it, because SCP-096, to our knowledge, is not fully sapient or sentient. We can't tell anyways. And so a mimetic effect like that would probably not stop it. The same way that we don't believe SCP-999's tickle euphoria would stop 999 from racing off to Merc. Time check. We have 18 minutes left in chat time. That church has an additional anomaly of adding cartoon sound effects to every single small movement the people inside make. I guess so. Sheesh. How is your foot doing? Well, thank you for asking, Intern Jones. I still have issues with plantar fasciitis and that act up, but the Achilles tendon is mostly fixed. I am slowly going through rehab and fitness training and a lot of foam rolling and stretching to make sure that I don't over tighten it again. Researcher Last, thank you for your 6 months as a level 1 researcher. We appreciate your membership and your service. Hey, Doc, what happened to all the Dr. Peppers? Are we out of Dr. Pepper? That's a criminal offense on my site. Someone's going to get sacked for that. Question for the best doctor in the Foundation. You're damn right. What are your least favorite SCPs besides you know who? Ugh. Also, happy birthday, Dr. Sherman. Well, thank you very much. And I don't really have least favorite SCPs from a writing standpoint, because since the SCP community has the community vote, we have kind of a floor where there's a quality floor where SCPs will get deleted if they're actually bad. So I don't keep track of like art I don't like. It's just not my vibe. I'm more of a positively and boosting other art. But I will say that that thing is the worst. SCP-4521 being a punk ass and not screaming while I'm in front of it is also a dick move. And SCP-022-J, anyone infected with SCP-022-J-1 is my enemy, and I will hit them in the dick with a titanium fist. Christopher Wolfboy, thank you for donating again to say. Donating again. Did you donate again? Yes, donate again. I wonder what would happen if someone put 682 and an unopened reverse card into the Clockworks on Very Fine. The booth for the Clockworks is not big enough to fit 682. It's like a phone booth, man. And 682 is bigger than a phone booth. Intern Thomas Mila, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a fruitcake on your way past the commissary. Hey, Dr. Sherman, hope you get better. Have a pie. Well, thank you. I do enjoy a good pie from time to time. And yes, getting very, very sick, food poisoning sick at the beginning of this week, and then having a very bad eye allergic reaction at the end of the week. This week sucks. I do not know what's wrong with my meat soup, but I need help. Blue Phantom, thank you for donating again to say. Wait, we're out of Dr. Pepper? Wait, where's Oat 999? Oh no! Oh, if that's why we're out of Dr. Pepper, I'm gonna have such a headache. Nines, why? Dr. Sherman, you were in my dream last night and you married my goddamn mom. I am not joking. Well, Intern Cross, I'm going to have to require you to clean your room then. Of all the ways I have been called a father figure or a daddy or a zaddy, that has got to be the most extra one. Hilarious. You ain't my real dad, Sherman. You're right. I'm the dad that stepped up. My dad had disappeared in the fucking dream, and I swear to God you had something to do with it. Well, tell your mom I said hi. Don't. Don't do that. Don't do that. That would be so much weird. She already knows. You told your mom about the marrying this YouTuber I know dream? What is happening in your life, my friend? Philip November, thank you for donating again to say. No. You go the Oz route and introduce their shins to an aluminum bat. Ow. Okay, I'm back. We have 11 minutes left in the chat. Christopher Wolfboy, thank you for donating again to say. Donating again to say more Dr. Pepper has been ordered, and I'm not referring to researcher Dr. Pepper, MD. Well, very important. Very important. Is it normal that SCP-999 is bouncing on walls? Well, Intern Perot, after drinking that much Dr. Pepper, yes, that is exactly what is normal. Upsettingly so. No. Dr. Sherman, please do not seduce my mom. I'll make the tree scream, I promise. Is that all I need to do to motivate you? Is court your mother? Flowers and chocolate? It is Mother's Day after all. Oh no, it is Mother's Day after all. 'Cause you're a mother lover, I'm a mother lover. We should fuck each other's mothers, fuck each other's moms. Damn it. Damn it, Lonely Island. You're so funny. You're so funny, Lonely Island. Blue Phantom, thank you for donating again to say. All security personnel, please make sure all cars are locked. 999 will steal a car again. If you don't, I don't want to catch it again. Very good idea. T-Rose. Dr. Sherman being ace makes this even more hilarious. It does, because it means I'm not even interested in your mother in that fashion, but I'm going to do it for the bit, and because whether or not I'm interested in them sexually, it is still nice to be nice to your mother. So be nice to your mother, otherwise bad things will happen. By me. And by bad things, I mean good things. I need to stop this. This is getting terrible. No! No, end of subject. Wandering by the books, thank you for donating again to save my life. We should get every wholesome SCP together for a party. There are a lot of anomalies with very unpredictable, anomalous reactions. We should not do that. Philip November, thank you for donating again to say. Dad joke, what do you call a motherfucker? A father. Well, only in a certain percentage of which, yes. Ta-da-na. Oh! Hey, is Mother's Day today, or is it tomorrow? By the way, I'm seeing Mother's Day, and now it's annoying me. Because if today is Mother's Day, I'm in trouble. It's tomorrow! It's tomorrow! It's not even today! You guys scared me. Now, as I was, so we'll talk about Mother's Day tomorrow, when it is Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But what if today is tomorrow? Oh, time zones. Is it Mother's Day for someone right now? But not Mother's Day for my time zone? That could be. That could be what we're doing here. Okay. Okay, I see now. I see. Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, thank you for donating again to say. Drake is playing tag with 99 now. Mother's Day is tomorrow. Oh, haven't heard from Drake in a while. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is there an SCP that is specialized in mothers? I don't know off the top of my head Flaky Cube, but I know as a preview for what we'll be doing tomorrow, we'll be making a visit to the SCP Foundation Holiday Hub, which compiles SCPs related to different holidays. And so if we scroll down here, there's Father's Day, Halloween, Mother's Day. There is a Mother's Day tale, and in the honorable mentions, 2 SCPs that are kind of mother related. Emperor Penguin Tube Mamas and Mother's Gift. So there's not actually a Mother's Day article. Did Father's Day get an article? Happy Father's Day is a tale, And then a gift from Dad and paternal Rubik's Cube. Okay, good to know. So, at least it's not patriarchal that we have a Father's Day SCP but not a Mother's Day SCP. Very good. Desk is saying, yes, there is! I'm terrified, Desk. You just handed me SCP-597, codename The Mother of Them All, and it opens to a description of sexual acts adult content splash page. I'm sorry, what? Well, that quick skim of SCP-597 horrified me beyond all belief, and I'm closing that article, and I am not describing it. If you want to horrify yourself, you can go ahead and take a look. But, oof. Well, this took a weird route. Susie Deltarune, say that again. Intern, just some. 682 being an offspring of the Scarlet King puts it immediately at a disadvantage against the Scarlet King, who is a larger, more reality spanning and more reality destroying entity. So, very clearly, the Scarlet King would simply win that fight. I didn't know you knew Deltarune. You better do a Chapter 5 gameplay. Intern Flaky, I haven't done a gameplay of any of the other ones, though. On my list of games that are SCP related to play, Undertale and Deltarune have not made the list because they are just, they're not at all SCP related. I mean, Lobotomy Corporation, that would be SCP related. But, you know, if I ever get my gaming studio set up ready so I can play games and record them and get them edited and do a good SCP gaming videos, maybe those could be down the line if enough people requested them. Eternus Transmographus, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a milkshake on your way past the commissary. Anomalous health tip, Dr. Sherman. Look up the cell process responsible for healing and focus on the intention and visualization of the cells working on the condition. Use subtle energy to direct them. Well, it's a good thing I took that, utilized that anomalous ability to control 100% of my brain, which is totally not pseudoscience at all and not a weird made-up thing that health gurus make up to get people to fall for their chunk science. So I could completely control my molecules to make them heal faster. Ow! I'm also just suffering because I did a real good gym day, and so my biceps are ready. Oh, yes. Intern Flaky, if you're still here. For your own personal enjoyment, and since you didn't know that I know ball, I just want to show you an excellent piece of art that was created because of the inspiration of the fact that I know what Deltarune is. Intern Flaky, you must be familiar with the Asgore Dreamer about to hit Des with a car. And I said on Twitter, someone needs to make this, but it has to be Dr. Clef. And, yeah, Dr. Clef. That is hype right there. That is fantastic work by... where are they? I need to credit the artist. I need to credit the artist. It is imperative. Intern Doofamet. Intern Doofamet made us Clefgore, which sounds like different art than it is. This is not Gore of Clef. This is Clefgore. It's completely different. You're all singing the song, but remember, I made my own version. And in fact, that is now the credit song of this stream. So if you stay to the end of the stream, you'll hear my version of that song. Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, thank you for donating again to say. According to Google, it is May 10th in places like Kiribati, Line Islands, Tonga, Samoa, and New Zealand, Chatham Islands. Okay, interesting. Philip November, thank you for donating again to say, we love a swole Sherm. Yes. It's a real shame. It's a real shame that my costume of choice for my YouTube career has a lab coat, which hides all my gains. Although I told Clef about this, I have a very funny OC doctor that I want to write one day. And that OC doctor is definitely a Gary Stu. It is the most out of this world, made up, silly, overpowered doctor of all time. So I'd have to write it really well to pull it off. But I want to do a essentially Brendan Fraser Tarzan, but as an SCP doctor. And so Brendan Fraser Tarzan is very dumb but smart in the smart ways. And as some person perhaps says, walks around in a lab coat with the sleeves ripped off because super ripped, and is very nice and kind to animals and helps everyone and always wins the day because he is George of the Jungle, but Brendan Fraser SCP Doctor Edition. And so one day I'm going to write Swole George of the Jungle Doctor, and then everyone will see the brilliance. And then I can cosplay taking the sleeves off my lab coats to be that guy. There we go. That's our new character. Also, I saw it. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Intern Cross. Dr. Sherman inspired me to start working out, so I like him a lot for that. Hell yeah, brother! Foundation Fitness Initiative. Hit the gym, get strong. Even nerds got to be strong. We got to be ready to run from containment breaches. We got to be able to lift heavy furniture to help people move. We got to be able to properly wield soup for my family in case of emergencies. So yes, Himbo Doctor is the way we do it. And yes, desk. If you want to join the Foundation Fitness Initiative, then sponsored by our friends at the scpstore.org, you can get Dr. Sherman's Foundation Fitness Initiative t-shirt, because you don't have to be the fastest researcher, just not the slowest. So you can get that and wear it to the gym for your gains. Philip November, thank you for donating again to say, are you going to see episode 9 of The Amazing Digital Circus in theaters, or is your local theater even showing it? I actually haven't checked. I've been too amped about going to get tickets to the back rooms. But I will have to take a look. Froy, stream is literally over 3 minutes ago. The outro is starting now. Hi, guys. Thank you for coming to today's coffee break with Dr. Sherman. And you know at the end of every stream, I tell you guys my favorite SCPs. But I'm not going to tell you that my favorite SCPs are the ones I personally wrote. That would be cheating. Sheer narcissism. Couldn't be that. But if you want to see the SCPs I wrote, you can go to the Sherm's author page in Site42 Hub on the SCP database. There you can see the SCPs I personally wrote, as well as contributed voice lines or sound effects too. And while you are on my author page, one tab over from the SCPs themselves, you'll find a list of links. People ask about these links in the chat all the time, but then they don't go to find them. It's maddening. They should be more determined, like you, Containment Hazard Assessment Team. When you go to those links, you'll have the option to become a Patreon patron or YouTube channel member to donate to us monthly. You can do a Ko-Fi or a YouTube Super Chat to donate to us one at a time. Or you can get the Dr. Sherman Site Director Edition plushie. You have 4 days left. If you don't get it now, it will be gone forever. That's forever, but even longer. This is your only opportunity. Chris the Dire Wolf Boy, thank you for donating again to say, do a doctor version of Alex Louis Armstrong, for clearly he is a military magic alchemist. Oh! Armstrong! Damn. That is an even more himbo version of a doctor than I expected. Oh my gosh. And that mustache. Glorious. Affleck! Hey, it's been a minute. Hope you've been doing well. Good to see you. Thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a cheesecake on your way past the commissary. Hello, Dr. Sherman. It's been a while. I was doing very secretive field work, mapping out CI bases in the North Pole. Oh, I hope you had a very good, warm time. I hope you brought plenty of jackets and heating pads. Okay, and now without further ado, my favorite SCPs in no particular order are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, SCP-5320, and SCP-8980. Content warning on that last one, it is a bit of a rough read. Speed round. 3999-3043-008-J, Spooky-J, 5031, 5175, 5320, content warning on the last one's a rough read. Site-42 staff, this has been another Dr. Sherman's Coffee Break, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site-42. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you in the next video or stream. Desk! Desk! What do you mean, find the links or Dr. Sherman finds your mom? What do you mean? No! What? Desk! Why? Desk! Damn it! Nope, not my face. Driving in my car right after a breach. Hey, that dude looks like a type green. Aim won't stray. My ukulele is hanging right out the window. Little did you know, I'm the Gary Stew. I'm about to pound the Humes out of you. Spotting that guy with my weird third eye. Do you like my song? Come on! Be safe, be well, Site-42 staff. And as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you in the next video or stream.